Welcome back to ch205. In this video I'll be talking about secant method, how we can use secant method to solve for the root of a function. This is chapter 1, section, let me see. So here is chapter 1. That is section, I have to go up. Yes, so this is section 1.2.5. So the example that I'm going to solve in this video is one of the end of the chapter problems. That is problem, let's see, that is problem 1.1, and I'm going to do part D of exercise 1.1. Okay, so let's go back to the secant method section. So in secant method, you have to start with two guess values. And let's say our two guess values are xk minus 1 and xk, or if you will, I can explain in terms of a and b. Let's say we pick up two guess values, a and b, and then based on a and b, we're gonna construct another variable like c. Okay, so now c is equal to b, which is our second guess, minus fb over fb minus fa. So this is downstairs, and then this whole fraction multiplied by b minus a. So given b and a, I can construct c. Then I replace a by b, and then b by c. So first you have to replace a, then you replace b. Okay, in that order. So the order really matters. That means if you replace b and then replace a, I think that messes up. It has to be a by b first, and then b by c next. And then the last step is we have to iterate from step 2 again, and then we have to construct the updated c using this formula again, and then iterate over these two steps until fa and fb become equal and almost equal to 0. In that case, we have to stop. Okay, let's see how we can do this for this example. So now we're going to look at how we can find the root of x squared times exponential of x minus 1. So usually the hardest part is come up with two guess values such that they're good. So what we can do here is, the best thing is to plot. So I'm going to plot the function. So here's my x, and f of x, I create two columns. And then I'm going to start with some, let's say, guess value, let's say minus 2. Okay, let's say, I'm going to actually get rid of that. Let's say I start with 1. I put x equal to 1, and then I evaluate f of x, which is, x squared. Now in this case is h15 is the address for this thing squared times exponential of this thing again. So that's what I have here in the equation bar, and minus 1. So that is exactly this equation carried out in terms of the address for this cell. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter here. So there you go. Here's the equation. I'm going to hit enter. That's 1.72. Then let's say for plotting, maybe I just do 2. So I type 2 here, and then I highlight this cell and drag down. And then I immediately notice that the value has gone up 1 then to 28. Most likely if I do 3, you can do actually 3. So here's 3. And I'm going to drag this guy down one more. It's going up. I'm looking for when the point and function becomes 0 or negative, right? So this thing is still going up. That means it doesn't hit x-axis. Yeah, the value is going up. So maybe I have to go the reverse direction. To do the reverse direction, you can highlight these two, drag this corner all the way up. And Excel actually does that in reverse order for you. So now you see that I populated 0, minus 1, minus 2, and so forth with the same increment that I was doing forward. So now I have to populate the equation cells. I'm going to click on this cell and then drag up. There you go. and I have the function plotted. Now you see that looks like the root is somewhere between 0 and 1. You see that it comes down, hits the x-axis, and then does a little bit of bendy thing, and then gets almost leveled out, right? And if you look at the result here, the root has to be between 0 and 1 because it switches between -1 and 172, so the root has to be between these two values. Alright, maybe the two guess values could be, you know, well, now here the two guess values should not be, well, does not have to be rounding the root, but I think the good guess points should be close to the root. Let's say the root is between 0 and 1, I can put 1 and 2 as two guess values. So that's what I'm going to put 1 here and 2 there. Alright, let me get rid of this thing. Okay, so here's my A, here's my B. Now I have to calculate f of A, because to calculate C, I need to know f of A and f of B here. So here's f of A. I just I type this equation now in terms of cell address for A, which is A3. So you see now it's A3 to the second power times exponential of A3 minus 1. Alright, so here's f of A. Hit enter. How about f of B? You just click on this guy and drag it to the right. We don't have any constant, so there's no $sign here. As soon as you drag this guy, the reference for every cell will be shifted to B instead of A. Now this guy is referenced to A. Now this guy will be referenced to B. Okay, because I just drag it to the right. So Excel automatically shifts everything one to the right for every cell you use. Alright, how about C? Now we're going to calculate C, which is this thing. So let's look at that. It's B3, which is this cell, which is B, minus f of B, minus f of A. So it's minus these two. These are in downstairs, in denominator. Yeah, and then times B3 minus A3. Times B3 minus A3. This minus this. Yeah, this minus this. Alright, that's exactly C. There you go. I'm going to hit enter. Perfect. Okay, now I have my first row done. Next row, which is really important. Then I have to replace A by B. So how I can replace A by B? So I'm going to put my cursor here and then say equal. This is going to be B, right? So I'm going to set this one to that cell, which is B3. I'm going to hit this cell. So my next A is going to be previous B. You see that? Hit enter. And then I'm going to replace B by C. So my next B, which is this cell, is going to be previous C. I'm going to hit this cell. There you go. So this is equal to C, and this is equal to B, which means I replaced A by B, and B, right? This is B. I replaced this by C. So now since C is sitting there. Alright. The rest is just drag down. I highlight these two. I'm going to populate the equations correspondingly for the new row. So I'm going to drag it one level down. And I should be fine because the equations will be formed with respect to these two cells. So everything is fine. Now I'm going to highlight these 5 cells. And then I go all the way down until I see f of A becomes equal to f of B. So I go down, let go, and look at f of A and f of B. They're still not equal, right? The condition should be these are equal and almost to 0. So I drag down a couple more. Yeah, they're getting close, but not still yet. There. Couple more down. And there you go. 0, 0. So you don't need this row. This is division by 0 because if you go further down, then C's got a problem. C has this thing in downstairs, right? And if A equals to FB, then mathematically you're dividing FB by 0 at some point, and then C becomes undefined. So that is why you get division by 0. And after that, actually you cannot go further. I'm going to clear this up. This is the end point. This is the stopping condition. You have to stop here because FA right here is equal to FB, and they're equal to 0. So what is the root? That's the root. So your A or B, which are identical, actually are the root, or is the root, because they're equal. All right. So maybe I have to say something here. Root is A equal to B. Okay. There you go. So I'm going to move this color down. All right. I hope this explains how we can do secant method using spreadsheet calculation. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next section.